Have you ever stopped to think that the world you see might not be the actual world? That what you're experiencing is, well, it's a version that's totally unique to you? That's what we're diving into here. This idea of how our personal conditioning literally builds the reality we live in and day out.
Okay, to really get this, let's picture something simple, something we've all seen. Imagine two people standing right next to each other, watching the exact same sunset. The colors, the clouds, the light, everything on the outside is identical for both of them. But what's happening inside their heads is a whole different story. For one person, that scene just washes over them with a feeling of total peace. It's beautiful, it's calm. But for the other person, those same colors might spark a memory, maybe a little bit of sadness for someone they wished was standing there with them.
So this is the big question, isn't it? If the sunset is a constant, what's the variable? What is it that creates two completely different realities out of the exact same moment? Well, the answer comes down to something we all have, but we almost never notice it. It's like we're all wearing this unseen lens that we view the entire world through. And that lens, that's our conditioning.
So what is conditioning, really? Think of it like an invisible filter that's been built up layer by tiny layer since the moment you were born. It's made of everything: your childhood, the culture you grew up in, your biggest successes, your deepest pains, every time you were praised and every time you were rejected. And it's not like these are just separate little events. They all stack on top of each other over the years, creating this default way of seeing things. It basically becomes the automatic software that our brain just runs in the background all the time. Let's look at how this actually plays out. Say you were conditioned by a lot of criticism growing up. For you, a simple compliment might feel really uncomfortable, even suspicious. Or if you're used to chaos, complete silence can feel super awkward. For someone who's only known strict rules, total freedom can feel absolutely terrifying. See, the situation itself is neutral. It's our filter that decides what it means. And this really gets to the heart of it all. We think we're just objectively looking at reality, but we're not. We're actually projecting our own inner world onto everything we see. We don't see the world as it is. We truly see the world as we are.
So, if our conditioning is a lens, let's try another metaphor to understand what it's doing. Let's think about your mind as a kind of mirror.
Now, when that mirror is perfectly clean, in its ideal state, it just reflects reality back exactly as it is. No distortion, no judgment, nothing added, nothing taken away, just pure, direct experience. But life happens, and all our experiences, our opinions, our fears, those old hurts that we're still carrying around, they don't just vanish. They start to settle on that mirror, kind of like a layer of dust that slowly but surely starts to cloud up the reflection. And what ends up happening is we stop seeing things clearly. We start seeing our own dust. We mistake our own fears and our own judgments for reality, because that's all the mirror can really show us anymore. This is such a powerful shift in perspective. Think about it. When you feel hurt by something someone says, the thing they said didn't create that pain out of thin air. It just lit up a dusty, sensitive spot that was already on your mirror. It revealed a filter you were already carrying around with you. Okay, so if we're all looking through these dusty mirrors, what do we do about it? Are we just stuck? Well, no. And that brings us to a much more hopeful idea, the idea of wiping the window clean. So just imagine for a second that you've spent your entire life looking at the world through the same window, and from your perspective, the view has always seemed kind of gray, a little dull. So naturally, you just conclude that, hey, the world is a pretty gloomy place. And then one day, something clicks. You shift your focus. Instead of looking at the world outside, you look at the window itself, and that's when you realize the problem was never the world. The problem was the years and years of dust and grime caked onto the glass. So you wipe it clean. Now, the world outside hasn't changed one single bit. But for you, your entire reality has been transformed. It's vibrant, it's clear, it's full of life. That feeling, that's clarity. Now, this all sounds great, but it can feel a little abstract, right? So how do we actually do it? How do we start cleaning our own window? Let's break down some really practical steps you can try. Okay, here are 5 really powerful ways to start. First, just notice your reactions. When you feel triggered, instead of jumping to defend yourself, just pause and notice the feeling. Second, try to see people beyond your labels. Don't just see, your boss, or your friend, try to see the human being right in front of you. Third, watch your assumptions bubble up. Just notice how fast your mind tries to predict or judge things. Fourth, at the end of the day, ask yourself, what bothered me today? And more importantly, why? And fifth, just practice open perception. Look at something ordinary, like a tree, and just see it without analyzing or naming it. This quote really just sums up the whole practice perfectly. The goal here is to get to a place where you can hear what's actually being said or see what's actually happening before your mind's filter rushes in to twist it and add its own story.
So as we wrap this up, the big takeaway is really about shifting our focus. It's about realizing that the state of our own vision is so much more important than the thing we happen to be looking at.
You know, we spend so much energy trying to change the world, change other people, fix our circumstances. But what if the real work is all internal? What if the problem isn't the view, but the blur on our own lens?
And here's the best part. Clarity isn't some destination you have to struggle to reach. It's actually our natural state. It's what's already there, just waiting underneath it all, once we start to let go of the filters, the dust, the weight of our past.
So I'll leave you with just one final question to think about. As you go about your day, just start to notice your own reactions, your perceptions, and just gently ask yourself, what's the dust on my mirror? What's clouding my view?